Holy, what the hell did I just watch, Batman? Tiki here, and I've been watching through each and every episode of Batman the Animated Series with Blue Dragon 5 as my guide. Tell him why, Dragon God. Just what the hell? Tell him why.
Well, you see, folks, long ago I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham, in a way.
Tonight we're talking about The Demon Within, which is, Dragon, this is up there with the most baffling episodes of all time, and I feel like the show itself acknowledges it with the whole, don't ask. Just don't ask. Dragon, if that's not the show breaking the fourth wall, I don't know what is, man. This episode is insane. It's truly insane. It's not boring. I'll give it that much. So in that respect, I like it a bit more than, I don't know, let's say the Ultimate Thrill or something like that. But man, it's, Dragon, it's like a Rorschach test. I don't know what the hell to make of this thing. And honestly, the only takeaway that I have, that kept distracting me, and you're going to hate this, but, the demon in this episode, Dragon, it very much reminds me of a Smash Brothers character. Right. And it just, I couldn't get that out of my head.
Really?
So, yep. I don't know, man. This whole episode, I will say that it's kind of fun having the, the whole, the spoiled brat who has a demon just, committing all his, all his, vanity, the whole, I don't like strawberry. There's nothing better than strawberry.
I want a schnozberry.
That element is fun, but Dragon, first of all, I will say this episode probably has, for my money, probably one of the longest times an episode's gone without a Batman experience, Batman appearance, because I timed it out. We go 13 minutes without Batman showing up. That's a long time, especially when we have just all this insane shit going on. I don't know, it's a lot, Dragon. It's a lot. I'm curious to know the background on this.
Yeah, I was really interested in how you were going to react to this one. I got to be honest, just given
I said, I don't hate it. It's just a lot.
Yeah, just given the track record you've been having with a lot of these, kind of going against the grain on some, I thought, because this one's kind of infamous, and I thought you might kind of lean in towards kind of the more, I don't know, more the favorable side of things, but,
I can't say that I do.
Yeah, I would have lost money on that one, but say what it. Okay, so The Demon Within. Okay, so this was directed by one of the great directors. I can't remember if this is TMS's top guy or top person or not. Atsuko Tanaka. Atsuko Tanaka directed Growing Pains. Remember the big clay-faced Tim Drake episode? Mm. And the writer on this, basically there's the main writer on this is Stan Berkowitz. Stan Berkowitz, of course, man behind Never Fear and Cult of the Cat. They're ergo the mixed kind of episode there. Again, the wonderful Never Fear episode and the Cult of the Cat. So make of that what you will.
Yeah, Cult of the Cat, another one of my least favorite of the season 4 episodes, so there you go.
So ergo, kind of the mixed bag.
Uh-huh.
The studio worked on this, kind of as I mentioned, with the director, TMS. TMS, this is the last, wave goodbye to TMS until, I guess for us, probably until, I believe, Batman Beyond. This is the last time you'll see TMS for a long while. TMS, of course, there might be a Superman episode we might be talking about, so probably, I don't know who animated that. Anyway, so TMS, of course, behind Growing Pains, Never Fear, Over the Edge, and Mean Seasons, and this is, again, the last of the New Adventures sets. It was the last New Adventures episode they did. Mm. Yeah. I'm kind of sad, because TMS, they do amazing work. All right, so Etrigan the Demon. Were you at all familiar with Etrigan?
Oh, God, no.
I had a feeling. So, Etrigan the Demon. This is a Jack Kirby character. So Jack Kirby, if I recall, the way it went...
Jack Kirby, DC.
Yeah, big... So that's the thing. Jack Kirby has a very interesting history, as many can imagine. Now, if I have my years down right here, I want to say this is the order in which it happened. Is that, of course, Jack Kirby makes a name with Marvel. For many years, Marvel... just the way things were set up at that time, not really favorable to the artist. I believe the big kind of line in the sand, and I believe this followed him even when he went to DC, is that they would not let the artist keep their artwork, which was big, and it was not nice. So Jack Kirby really got screwed in the comic industry big time. He's the reason we have like the comic book defense fund and all that sort of stuff. And that, and of course, like your horror stories, like what happened to Bill Finger and everything, stuff like that. So Jack Kirby essentially, he was dissatisfied with the way Marvel was treating him for reasons like that, and essentially he was such a big name. Again, he basically built Marvel up in the '60s as the ultimate competition for DC, stealing a lot of their business. DC kind of enticed him to come over to their side, and they kind of let him run wild. And that's why you have all these kind of wonderfully weird Jack Kirby creations in this era of kind of all the New God stuff, like Darkseid. All things are going to be really popular this week. The New Gods and everything, the fourth world characters, as they're kind of called as well, the New Gods. That's all Jack Kirby. So that whole era of DC, like the big kind of like god tier, kind of like your godlike, craggly looking characters, the Kirby dots. That's all that work that he did with DC. And the other thing is characters like Etrigan. This was like a full-on Jack Kirby character, both creation and art. So
that feels like it for sure.
Absolutely, and yeah, they so Bruce Timm, as I've mentioned many times here, Bruce Timm adores Jack Kirby. As you can tell by kind of the animated series style, it's very much kind of a Jack Kirby kind of like old school kind of simplistic, streamlined design, like like the old kind of square jaws and everything. It's very Jack Kirby is. So Bruce Timm is pretty much channel his love letter to Jack Kirby within the episode and doing the demon and everything. And we already did a Zatanna episode, which kind of skirted magic. It didn't go full on with spells and everything. It was just
this is all in, man. This is like Harry Potter territory, dude.
So this is in Batman. This is the second time we've ever done something supernatural with Batman. We did the Avatar episode. Remember the whole mummy thing?
Vaguely.
Ra's al Ghul episode. Remember the whole had the opening like.
Oh yeah, I figured it would have something to do with Ra's al Ghul. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Anyway, so that was like the last time we did That was the time we first did supernatural stuff. And this is where we go kind of Doctor Strange with it, if you will.
Oh.
And it's kind of fun because the other thing, I don't know if it was exactly at the same time or not, depending on the season, but this and a Superman the Animated Series episode that had their version of Doctor Strange. DC's version of Doctor Strange is Dr. Fate, guy with the gold helmet. He's essentially the Sorcerer Supreme at DC. Anyway, so the point being, at this time, you have like those two elements.
DC also has another Doctor Strange.
Exactly. So the idea, I want to say Dr. Fate predates Doctor Strange too, because I want to say there was a 40s version of him with the Justice Society. But that's my point. So the point is, this is the first time they've dipped their toe in the grander DC animated universe to magic all of a sudden. So Superman with that episode and this big time with this episode. It's like, okay, now magic is officially in the animated, the DC animated universe. That's really big. The last thing I'm going to mention here is just a little fill in the blanks here. In case you were curious about how Batman met Etrigan the Demon. So there was an annual comic, like in the tie-in. They did every year they do have like the Batman tie-in comics, and like once a year they'll have like a kind of a special story. And the Batman Adventures Annual #2 had a story that was written and drawn by Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, and Glenn Murakami. They all worked on this story. And as far as Bruce Timm's concerned, this is what happened in that story, and this is fully canon and everything. As in, this is how they met. It's a really great story about them teaming up to stop Ra's al Ghul. Excellent story. It's like love letter to Jack Kirby as well. Love it. And after that, the Demon has like 3 more appearances in kind of the DCAU between Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and stuff like that. And again, they kind of play up the friendship between the Demon and Batman. So it's kind of fun. There's like that fun history with.
Okay, I will. It's funny that you mentioned that, because one of the things that really threw me off the first time watching this episode, Dragon, is just how casual Bruce Wayne is. Like, oh, hey, there's a demon. All right.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, it's like, to me, it's like the magic stuff, it's like, especially because it's, by all intents and purposes, the first real time where, it's not just dipping our toe in, Dragon, it's diving into the deep end when you don't know how to swim. I mean, that's how it was for me as a fan.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm kind of divided on the episode, because once I looked into that comic, which I kind of had in like a set or something, in the
you understand for me how it's like having no context for that. I'm just like, okay, like there's a demon here. Nobody, like Tim Drake is like mildly alarmed, but even he's like, kind of just like, hey, what gives?
And Tiki, that's the thing. That's the infamy of the episode at play right there. Where everyone's pretty much your fresh audience, even just your loyal animated series audience, like the ones who aren't aware of these tie-ins and stuff. Which I wasn't at the time when I first watched this either. I didn't know like there was like the whole like that story filled in the blank. Is that you are going into this blind? You're in Tim Drake's shoes. Again, he's always kind of the audience's perspective. We are absolutely kind of like, what? What is happening? We're doing full-on magic and Batman. I mean, Superman. Like Superman meets everybody, but Batman, really? So yeah, it was. Over time, I gotta tell you, I've kind of really come around it on the years because I was kind of dreading getting to this episode, but going back to it, there are elements that really save it for me. But we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, like I said, Dragon, I think I'm probably a little bit more negative than you are, but I definitely appreciate it more than more than something that's just kind of bland. So it's definitely interesting for sure. There's definitely some a lot of talking points.
Oh, and by the way, just to fill you in, just so you don't just to fill in your curiosity a little bit, then we'll just jump right into it. Jason Blood's origin story, which we kind of like we gild the lily on here in like one scene, but they show it in Justice League. They show the flashback of his origin, where basically Jason Blood, he was a knight who betrayed King Arthur. He's one of the Knights of the Round Table. He betrayed King Arthur. Because he fell in love with Morgan Le Fay, the big bad witch of the medieval times, and essentially she tried to kill him, and Merlin saved his life by giving him this curse, making him the demon. That was kind of his penance, where you're always going to be tied to this giant, demon thing, but you'll be immortal, but you'll be at the service of man. For your betrayal, you're going to do some good. It's like the ultimate community service of the ages, so to speak.
It's kind of like vaguely Ghost Rider-esque.
Yeah, there's a lot of Ghost Rider in there for sure. Yeah, because I never really thought of that comparison, but yeah, it's kind of a sort of like a DC Ghost Rider thing. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, Dragon, let's just I just don't want to get too bogged down in the details and the explaining on this. Let's just try.
That's pretty much it. Everything else is pretty straightforward. So.
All right. So, Dragon, Tim Drake, he wants to go play some videos. Not video games, just videos, because that's what the kids do. They play some videos. Don't want to harp on that too much. I just thought the vocabulary was funny.
Yes, so we're at the Gotham Auctioneers Limited kind of auction house. So Bruce Wayne, he's taking a very bored Tim Drake there. Hopefully they get him off the video games. Let's see. Also, this kind of mirrors. It's kind of a fun thing with the Robin series. Kind of mirrors Time at a Joint, where he takes the very bored Dick Grayson to an auction house.
Sure.
And Clock King shows up, and makes up the episode a little more interesting.
So Tim Drake spots another person his age, and he's like, "Well, at least I'm not the only prisoner here." And then he quickly realizes that this kid is here on his own will, and he's very much very much not of not acting like a normal child. I'm not explaining that right, Dragon, but please set up this character because he's very weird.
Okay, so we have this very Eddie Munster looking kid with the cap.
That's a great way to describe him. I don't know why I never realized.
It's Eddie Munster, like the little Lord Fauntleroy outfit. It's kind of like a pilgrimy Lord Fauntleroy outfit or something, like very Eddie Munster-esque. Anyway, so he's he's got his little, and Tim Drake, well, at least you got your little kitty here to keep you company, and of course, like the cat's like instantly trying to scratch him. It's bad omens. I mean, there's something off this really stuffy kid. Like he hasn't been dragged here by a parent. He's there by choice. So this kid's already a little weird. You don't see dedication like that unless your parents get murdered. So this we know something's up.
Yeah.
Okay, so the auction begins, and essentially it's a Dark Ages collection. Stuff from medieval times, very kind of Army of Darkness-esque stuff.
Right.
So the item up for auction, the big ticket item to start things off with, is Morgan Le Fay's branding iron. So the rumor, I love this auctioneer bit, by the way. This feels like some good Stan Berkowitz, right? It's really charming. This whole rumor has it has magical powers, but the Gotham Auctioneers Limited makes no such guarantee. It's a charming little laugh. All right, so let's see. And again, we're kind of foreshadowing things right here. Of course, obviously, as magic is the first real kind of foray in the magic's about to happen with things here, big time. So, first bid, long story short, with the bidding war here is opening bid's $10,000. Quite hefty. The bidding war begins between the kid who is Clarion. We're going to learn Clarion the Witch Boy, but Clarion, Master Clarion, and Jason Blood. Man, this man with, kind of red hair, dapper looking chap, got a little sliver of white in there. And something interesting about the guy. Always, Jason Blood's always had like a classy design. It's always been kind of neat. Anyway, so these two guys get into a bidding war. It ends up going to like $100,000. It seems like, oh god, it's too rich for for Jason Blood. So there's the price gets hiked up all the way to $250,000. It's too rich for Jason Blood now. It seems like after Tim Drake's making all, oh man, you should raise my allowance. That kid has like $250,000. Come on, Bruce. And then what does Bruce do, Tiki?
$1 million.
Yes, yes. And then we have, I gotta tell you, probably my favorite bit in the episode, easily, is I love Bruce Wayne helping out his buddy in this episode so much. And I love this gesture where, so after the $1 million bid has been made, just Bruce Wayne, he just kind of looks to the side at Jason Blood, gives him that reassuring nod. And it's just my favorite moment of Bruce Wayne saving the day for his old friend and putting his wealth to good use, and just it's kind of that great reassuring look of, hey man, I've got you. It's like, it's really nice.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so Tim Drake said, well, there goes my raise.
Yep.
All right, so Bruce Wayne explains he did all this to help a friendly. Why that? What are you gonna do? Buy some cattle? Like, what are you doing here? Why did you spend $1 million on the stupid branding iron?
Who voices the Mr. Blood? By the way, he sounded familiar?
Oh, he should, Tiki. It's Billy Zane.
Oh, Billy Zane. Oh, okay.
That Billy Zane, yes. Mr. Titanic, Bill, Mr. Not So Nice Fiance. Yeah, they recast. Honestly, I like his second voice actor better, the one they get for Justice League and everything. Michael T. Wise, who voiced Tarzan in the animated show. That's mainly why I like him. But Billy Zane does a pretty good job for a one and done. And plus he voices the demon too. So
All right. So meanwhile, the little witch boy comes over to torment Bruce Wayne. He's like, enjoy it to all you can.
So we see, Bruce and Jason Blood. He's, Jason's just like chasing off Clarion there, just kind of saving him from like kind of the veiled threat. Ah, yes, Uncle Jason. The next time we meet, it won't be by accident. And
I love the little detail that they're not related at all. Clarion just calls him uncle just out of spite.
Yeah. It's almost like, yeah. So I just realized that I was gonna make that Back to the Future 2 joke, but that wouldn't work. All right. So anyway, so then we have this great chilling, almost kind of like almost like Jim Henson Witches line here, where where are his parents? He turned his parents into mice. You're not serious. And we just reveal the cat Teakle. We just like, it's just like, oh god, he turned his parents into mice and fed them to his cat.
Dragon, that cat, I will say, is one of the most baffling. I always forget that it turns into a fucking sentient creature, Dragon, and that's like the fifth weirdest thing about the episode. I don't know. There's just something about how this episode just throws all this shit at you that just is kind of like, it just feels like whiplash for me. I'm still not over it after watching it.
Well, the thing about, we'll get to the cat thing. I'm gonna rock your world. I won't rock your world on the cat thing. I'll just tell you something about the cat thing later.
All right, I look forward to it. Anyways.
All right, so again, very Jim Henson. It's very like I can't just say Roald Dahl's Witches because now there's another version of it that says Roald Dahl's Witches, so I have to say the Jim Henson Witches. That's kind of creep factor about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're in Jason Blood's apartment. Nice place. Very magic-y all over the place.
This is where we're gonna spend a good chunk of the episode, and that's one of the big things that bothers me about it.
Really, you don't like Jason's place?
Like his apartment, Dragon, but it feels very confined that we're spending a big chunk of the episode there. I don't know.
All right. Well. Okay, so we have this bit here, really nice moment where Jason swears to pay Bruce back. It's going to take a while because it's $1 million. And then And then just this really sweet bit where Bruce says, "Let's just call it a professional courtesy." That's a classy dynamic they have. Just these two guys. Like, Bruce doesn't have many friends. When we pull someone out, even from the blue, it's kind of it's kind of special. And I love the idea that Bruce and Jason are friends, and Batman and the Demon, they have like a they have a respect for each other. Like there's also professional courtesy there as well from like their whole Ra's al Ghul encounter and everything.
Okay.
All right, so Tim, he's exploring the apartment. He finds all these magical totems and relics from a centuries-old life. He's asking about this funky-looking Jack Kirby bust. Of course, we revealed this Jack Kirby-looking bust. Essentially, we build up the story of Etrigan the Demon, old Merlin's demon. Basically, Merlin had this demon bodyguard, Muscle, that would protect Camelot. And when Camelot fell, it was kind of
fucking Ghost Rider, Dragon.
I know it is. I never thought of it that way, but you're right. It is Ghost Rider. And of course, on the back of our little bust here, we have Jason Blood's face. Or at least the man looks awfully a lot like Jason Blood. I wonder if that's going to pay off.
Nah, it's just coincidence.
And so Tim Drake's really skeptical because for that to be true, he'd have to be 1,500 years old. That's one of my favorite things about the DC universe. By the way, I love. Not a top tenner, but just another favorite thing about the DC universe, the long laundry list. I love that Ra's al Ghul, we have all these immortals in the DC universe, and they all have like these crossover modes. And that little story I keep talking about, the annual story, had Ra's al Ghul versus Jason Blood through history. And we get the idea that, again, they have guys like Vandal Savage and Jason Blood and Ra's al Ghul, these immortals who kind of, like, they run into each other. They have their own little crossovers. It's awesome.
Yeah. You know what's cool about that is that, like, we just got, like, with WandaVision, we just got the probably, like we keep saying, with the exception of maybe some Thor stuff, the chronologically the oldest point in the MCU timeline, which is the witch stuff. And that was like 1800s, and so this is taking the DC animated canon back literally 1,000+ years. So that's really ambitious storytelling there.
Might be the 1600s, but yeah.
Well, still.
Absolutely, yes. All right, so let's see. So Tikal the cat.
Can I just say, what kind of name is that for a cat? Is that like an Egyptian god or something? Doesn't necessarily roll off the tongue.
I'm not.
It's not a huge gripe. I'm just saying. It's like.
I just think it's like we just gave an annoying character an annoying cat name.
Fair enough.
What I think it is. Just call him Tikal. No, it's probably like a pool of it's a pool of some kind.
Because you know what Tikal rhymes with, right?
What?
Fecal.
Well, yeah, it was. So I was hoping you had something a little more clever than that, but yeah. Anyway, so Tikal's trying to steal the branding iron. Bruce Wayne, he just
and this is where the episode officially just goes off the rails, Dragon. 6 minutes and 10 seconds in, about thereabouts.
So it's Bruce Wayne's essentially facing off against the thieving cat. No, I ain't talking Catwoman, kids.
He's cat. Facing off against like a Cats 2019.
Yes, so the cat transforms into kind of this cat being. Now here's the deal with this. Okay, so I really became no pun intended familiar with this through the Guillermo del Toro the third in the Guillermo del Toro interconnected universe on Netflix, the anime, like the Troll Hunters universe, the Arcadia.
All right, please be brief with this because there's so much canon here. I can't.
All right, look. The point is, the third show's about magic. It's about witches and stuff. Warlocks. Yeah. It's wizards. Sorry, I was trying to look for the words wizards. The third series is wizards. It talks about magic, and our main character has like a little animal kind of sidekick. Think like Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch or something. So
yes.
He has a sidekick. Now, the idea is every wizard has a familiar. A familiar is basically a kind of a talking animal that can transform into kind of other things. So that's the idea. So you have like a little animal sidekick that can transform to other creatures or other things. So that's what you call that a familiar. That's what this thing is.
Because his Dark Materials has something that's kind of like that.
But anytime you see that, it's called a familiar.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in his Dark Materials, it's called a demon, but...
Well, you know what I'm just in general. Anyway, well,
not a
damn
D.
wizard.
It's got a weird spelling in his Dark Materials. It's Daemon. It's like
Well,
a friendly
are they
version
full-on
of
wizards and his Dark Materials and Witch Boys?
You see, I have deep lore that I can bore you with too, Dragon.
Well, I don't want to get into a semantical argument. Are there witches and wizards and stuff in his Dark Materials, or are you just talking anyway? Okay. Anyway, so familiar. All right.
Oh God.
So again, basically a very agile and feral hench lady cats thing.
Uh-huh.
All right. So let's see. So Batman and Robin, they go into
It's
act.
definitely better than Cheetah.
That's kind of a cheap. It's a cheap shot. Anyway, seriously, the Cheetah and the animated one's pretty good though.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right. Okay, so anyway, so Batman and Robin spring into action. They're trying to save the branding iron. Like Batman's like grabbing the leg before the thing climbs out the window. Bruce is in trouble. Ergo, we say the magic words, Tiki. We say the magic words that are long. Long gone the form of man.
Okay, that's another thing, Dragon. I'm going to jump ahead here a little bit.
Let me finish the thing, then.
I mean, yes, this transformation is ridiculous. It is.
Well,
does it not bother you, Dragon, at the end of the episode when Batman is literally just like chanting these incantations?
Well, that so much does not bother me because again, this is like a staple of the demon. He has to say the magic words to become the demon, and in that case, someone else has to say it in that case. But it's kind of, I like that we kind of legitimized it by that point. This crazy episode, Batman, Kevin Conroy delivers like the magical, the age old, epic.
All right, we'll get there because I have thoughts on that.
Okay, so my point is, so we have like the age old kind of every time every demon story you have that moment where he says the famed incantation, like long gone the form of man, rise the demon Etrigan. Mm-hmm. See, they dialed it down a lot here, but traditionally the demon only speaks in rhyme. So all they did here is they just made just the opening incantations a rhyme. Everything else is like, because it'd be exhausting after a while.
Oh, it would be. I'm glad they didn't go that route.
In the comic, it was all rhymes. All right. So also when he transforms, you'll notice, like also when the familiar transforms, I imagine what's happening here. You notice like the effect that happens when they transform. I think it's like prototype Kirby dots. I think it's TMS trying to adapt the Kirby dots before they mastered it years later, like the whole little Kirby effect.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, so TMS works through magic. We have Robin's reaction, like, "Oh my God, what am I saying here?" And they made toys of this kid, so we have. Seriously, they made like a 3-pack of the demon, Clarion, and the little cat.
They really? That sounds like a fun set.
It is. So we have the original design of the demon here is just massive and boxy as all get out.
Again, I swear to God, like I look up, not right now, but like on your off time, look up Smash Brothers Devil, and it's a slightly different color scheme, but it's very much kind of like a the same sort of like a devil in a vaguely like superhero getup, with the cape and the. I don't know. It's a funny comparison. Anyways,
they scaled them down a little after this episode, but yeah.
But yeah, like I said, Dragon, the weird thing about this whole thing is just as someone who has no idea what the background is on these characters, Bruce Wayne is just acting way too casual about this whole thing.
Well, again, the idea being he's seen this before, though.
I guess so. It just throws me off.
Well, again, it throws Tim Drake off. Ergo, that's you.
Sure.
All right. Okay, so the demon battles the familiar. Again, very agile, very, very fierce, very fearsome. Let's see. So a fire gets ignited inside the apartment. So the demon, again, this is a really nice bit here. The demon isn't just like all damage and everything. It's showing you the difference, kind of almost like a Hulk, without Bruce Banner versus with Bruce Banner in him. Is that, hey, makes the ethical call here to save Bruce and Tim, and which allows Teakle to escape.
Mm-hmm.
Teakle escapes, gives the brand the Clarion, which means trouble, and basically activates it and uses it for his devious purpose, which is I'm going to use this brand, and then gives a little magical incantation.
We just steal all the strawberry ice cream.
And more. So basically, you activate the brand with the little magic words, and basically you get to control the demon.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty much the long and short of it. All right, so then okay, so we have like Jason Blood in the aftermath tending to Tim Drake's burns and everything, and
Can
give him
you
a
explain to me how Jason Blood and the demon can like coexist? Like it seems like they split off. Like it's like you mentioned. Like is it like kind of like where the Hulk becomes two different personalities that exist in two different places? I was kind of confused on that.
It's the brand, but they're not supposed to be separated. The brand did that.
Okay, but they are the same person technically, right?
No. It's a demon. It's like a symbiote. It's like the demon is fused with like they have to coexist in the same body.
Oh, sweet Jesus! I'm not even gonna. All right, I can vaguely wrap my head around that.
Okay, the demon is just they took the demon from
Dragon,
the pits
let's just go with it.
All right. Fine. Okay, so Jason's dealing with Tim's burns from the fire and everything. We have like Tim Drake basically speaking to the audience's mind here. This is all hard to sell here. I don't understand what.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tim. I'm with you.
And we have like Jason Blood pulling the Shakespeare quote. There's more in heaven on earth than there's Horatio than was dreamt of in your philosophy. What does that mean? Batman's is all business here. It's like being playing Batman very straight in the episode. It means get up. We have a branding iron to find. So basically, the base of the brand is activated. Etrigan is separated from Jason Blood thanks to the branding iron, which means the demon is now a slave to Clarion, and with the demon out of Jason Blood's body, he's going to grow old rapidly because he doesn't have his eternal youth. He doesn't have like his immortality at play anymore. So all the centuries, the 1,500 years of life, it's going to catch up with him real fast. So we now have stakes.
Oh boy.
Steaks.
I'll take my medium rare, please.
So basically, the ticking clock is in effect with Jason Blood's immortality at stake now, and Batman's determined to stop that clock. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. So he tells Tim to stay with Jason, to aid him because he might need some help. And but come on, Bruce, you're going to need a kid to find a kid.
Sound logic, I guess.
He won't be that hard to find. So, we also had like just this Clarion is like really tough talking the demon here. Like, you hate me, don't you? Don't go on, say it. Oh, I really hate you. Well, too bad. He's being all snotty. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. I'm giving you orders.
Okay, can I just say, Dragon? This kid must be one of the reasons why this episode is divisive, right? It must be. This kid is a brat.
I mean, again, if the whole just magic in general didn't do it, I mean, the witch boy doing it, absolutely.
Right. That's what I'm saying, man. It's I'm really not into this kid.
I'll only be clear though, they adapted the kid fine. I'm saying in general, let's have.
Well, I'm sure they did. It's just not a great character.
I don't think. Hey, I'm not. You know me. I'm iffy on Doctor Strange. Has opened me up. Doctor Strange and Once Upon a Time has opened me up to magic more than I ever have been ever. So I'm open to the magic, but I'm not championing a lot of the demon stuff.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I like the demon, but I'm not crazy about like all this extra magical stuff.
I hear you.
Anyway. Okay, so the point being, the kid's gonna have a night on the town with his new magical muscles. So speaking of which, oh god, this is where the crazy starts. So Clarion's having a night on the town. He takes in a movie with Etrigan, Devastator 3, starring Donald Salt and Pepper. So you can imagine what this is a parody of. Terminator 3. I hate sequels, so he has Etrigan blast the theater for a bit there, and then the kid's hungry. Oh, ice cream! So the demon just grabs this ice cream truck, and then I love this. The demon already is pre-programmed to know what to look for by his master. Like, he just opens it up, dumps it all, he searches through it. No strawberry master.
Okay, this leads to, I think, the line of the episode, Dragon. Like, I fucking, this line is, like, super quotable to me,
great.
Which is, There's no, what is it, Dragonline? What is the
There's
exact
nothing good
phrase?
as strawberry. There's
what?
nothing good as strawberry.
There's nothing as good as strawberry.
Except maybe cake.
Kirby cake.
Yeah, so again, you get the Kirby now, Kirby cake.
To be honest with you, for some reason, I didn't even notice the Kirby on my first watch. I feel stupid now.
Yeah, you should. I mean, it's right there. We crash it. It's not just there.
Right
we throw an ice cream truck through that. Like, how do you miss that? Anyway, so we toss an ice cream truck through the window. We have this. Tell me, of course, we are big foodies of animation for sure.
Oh God, yes.
How delicious did this cake animation look?
Dragon, I gotta tell you, I'm getting into cake in my old age.
Get out.
Like, just generally speaking, I've always been more of like an ice cream guy, but now, like, I don't know, like cake is like, I'm really getting into it. And so, yes, this cake does look delicious.
One of my favorite gags in the episode. I love Clarion offering the demon some cake, and just the demon just kind of waves him off like, nah. Just the wave off.
I will say that this part of the episode, like, just Clarion causing just like juvenile mischief with the demon is easily my favorite part of the episode, Dragon.
It is great, right? So then the kids just having like just being all difficult here, like a train passes, noisy. So then,
oh God,
like basically Clarion is Veruca Salt but with powers. That's pretty much
I would go a step further and say, like, I don't watch Game of Thrones, Dragon, as you know, but like, are you familiar with King Joffrey at all? As like just like by pop culture osmosis?
I think I saw a picture of the kid once, like a little kid on the throne with a little crown.
Yes.
I think I saw
like,
that once.
I could see like this kid being like King Joffrey with powers. All right.
So. Anyways, a train passes.
You hear that, kids? We watch Game of Thrones. We know who King Joffrey is.
No, he watches Game of Thrones more than I do.
Oh, I got halfway through season 1, Dragon.
I didn't watch anything. All I know is there's a red wedding.
To Sean Bean's death.
All he knows is a red wedding and a disappointing ending. And that pretty much everyone in Hollywood's had a role in Game of Thrones. And all the good stuff and all the stuff we watch at some point in time. Anyway, so I think he derails a train because it's noisy, and then like just now destroy those ugly old buildings. So he's destroying like some of the abandoned buildings in Gotham. Thank goodness. So then the man enters the episode finally. So after this whole petty and childish rampage,
I gotta say, Dragon, is it really the demon doing some free construction labor? The end all be all to Batman? Like, is it like Batman's like, that work belongs to the construction union?
Oh God.
You're taking away hard-earned paychecks.
Well, remember, it's not just destroy the building. I mean, he completely like that thing like collapsed on itself, man. That was a full-on like. There's no. Maybe they were trying to refurbish that building. That was now completely gone.
All right. Anyways, so yes,
right.
13 minutes into the episode, and Batman finally shows up. What do you think about that? That's got to be one of the longest times, like. Outside of like an episode, like I imagine there's probably one or two episodes. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I imagine there's a few where it's just not Batman focused, so he just barely has any screen time. But like, I don't know. This has definitely got to be one of the episodes where he just does not show up for a large chunk of
I mean,
it.
like off the top of my head, I'm thinking like stuff like Harley and Ivy, where Batman doesn't really. I mean, he's
right.
at the top.
Like
He's at the...
Harley specific episodes are what come to mind. Yeah.
Sure, and then I have like stuff like Old Wounds, but Batman's in flashback for that episode, so he's really in that episode. So that's not a good example. But you know what I mean, like Harley and Ivy being like one where Batman doesn't. He it has like a little. He's at the top of the episode, then he doesn't show up till like the end of Act 2.
Sure.
You know, it's like he isn't Batman's not in that episode till Act 3, really. So you know.
All
But
right.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't mind again, like because I love the Bruce Wayne stuff that front loads the episode, like the whole like the history between him and Jason Blood, and just kind of seeing these like little exchanges, even not knowing all the stuff involved. I'm satisfied with that. And then so long as like half the episode still has Batman, well, he's in there, so
Fair enough. Fair enough.
and Batman just showing up. And basically, I love Batman just being like the audience just wants to kick the crap out of this kid, or it's just like you've done enough damage for one night, young man.
You think you're going to stop me? Yes.
I just love that. It's just great. Like the idea of this bratty kid for centuries, as long as Jason Blood's been around, probably has never been. Again, we turned his parents into mice.
Right.
It's like no one's talked to me like that in so long. Get used to it.
I'd rather not.
So then we have Bat Cactus. He basically turns Batman into a cactus with all these painful protruding spikes. And these aren't just like, oh, look at Batman, now he's a cat. Like, no, folks, these somehow, yes, without the blood, because I guess Kids WB has some standards. Some standards like, well, we can't traumatize the kids too much. Like, Batman's in a lot of pain when these spikes are coming out.
It's creative, I'll give it that much.
Yeah, so thankfully, on the sidelines is where the apartment comes back into play. So Jason's observing of this whole altercation on a little crystal ball, and he and Tim Drake are assisting Batman on the sidelines with some spells from a little spell book to nullify all Clarion's mumbo-jumbo magic. So let's see. So basically, we kind of we fix Batman up there. Then we have this awesome bit. So Batman's then turned and he's like tree coated now, thanks to Clarion. We have this great bit. Clarion's like about to gloat and everything. Batman's just like bam, hits the kid with his giant tree branch arms. Awesome.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Groot.
All right, so then Clarion, he catches on rather quick about, oh, Uncle Jason's helping you, ha ha ha. So then he sicks Etrigan on Batman, which you think, why didn't he do that in the first place? But he sicks Etrigan on Batman. So then we have, again, so now we're seeing, especially doing all these spells and everything, Jason Blood, he's rapidly aging at this point. So they're the ticking clock, he's starting to rapidly age. He pulls out this crystal to give Batman like a kind of an after-image sort of copies of himself so he doesn't get killed by the demon.
Yeah, that's a really cool effect.
I think it's one of the best things TMS did in the episode, because every time one of these copies is destroyed, you have like these little bats and these plumes of smoke. It's awesome. If you're going to do bat magic, that's how you do bat magic. Anyway, so, very anime-esque. All right. So basically, this allows Batman to flee from Etrigan for a moment there. He's evading optic blasts, doing some acrobatics, typical Batman stuff. Then he reaches a dead-end alley, which I love that we address. Maybe there's some unfinished streets and alleys in Gotham, because we saw the construction district that Etrigan kind of
right.
to the hand too. So, yeah, and so Batman's he's literally cornered right now, and he doesn't stand a chance against this guy. So he's trapped. Jason uses his fleeting strength to hide Batman within the brick wall. Nice move. Well, anime, again, TMS working their magic. So Clarion, he's chastising Etrigan. You stupid, you lost him. How do you lose him? So he then tells him to go after Jason Blood. Go after Uncle Jason. Which is not good. This is not good. So Tim Drake, he's basically ordered to take that blue powder, make a little protection circle around us, and basically it's kind of like supernatural logic. Do like little salt.
Yeah, no, I've seen the same sort of thing before with supernatural type shit. I get it.
Exactly, to protect you, stay on the inside. All right, so they got a little barrier going on here. Etrigan, he showed up at the apartment, but he cannot enter so long as Jason maintains the little hold there, a little spell hold. But again, he's not doing so well, so he kind of begins to pass out, which means Etrigan's about to break through, which is really not good. Also, I like the little line Tim Drake had before things were going belly up here, saying, man, can I get some of this powder from my utility belt? Because wouldn't you want that, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right, so as Clarion's getting all cocky and he's savoring the victory, Batman awesomely tackles the kid for the iron.
Right.
And then he just holds it above the kid's head, just like holds it above this petulant brat, like, give it back.
Yeah, the whole episode is kind of just like making a fool out of this kid for the most part. And you know what? In some ways, I'm kind of down for that.
Very deserved. Because for years we wanted to see these kids get their comeuppance, right?
Sure. Just generally speaking, just this
Yeah.
archetype of kid.
Yeah, it's always like the bratty kids where you always like, no, the hero can't do something bad to the kid. Or
Yeah,
like,
yeah. No,
but no, Batman,
I hear
can knock him around a little bit. Yeah, he can really. Okay, so before Etrigan kills Jason Blood, which would be really apropos, basically killing his old roommates, essentially. So Batman breaks the spell by he combines them again using like the witch's evil now undo, or is it undone? Now undone. Make the one from what? Sorry, make one from what is two.
All right, Dragon. You can't say it with a straight face.
I
And,
can
you know,
say I just butchered it. Don't
Conroy, he does what he can with it, Dragon, but I think it's still pretty silly to see Batman specifically having lines like that. I don't know.
Clearly not my preference on a Batman story, clearly. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna have Conroy deliver a little spell, I think that's the moment.
I mean, he does what he can, you know, it's whatever.
Anyway. Okay. So let's see. So Jason and Etrigan are reunited yet again. Let's see. Robin, now they're saved. Robin points out, like, hey, Batman still needs our help, guys. So Batman's now taken on Clarion and Tikal. We have this really awesome bit in the episode. This is really cool. Okay, so Tikal's like all fairly and agilely just trying to tackle Batman, trying to attack him, and basically as Batman's like throwing a batarang, doesn't do anything with it, but he has his branding iron. So as Tikal is charging towards Batman, Batman just awesomely uses the business end of the branding iron to stamp Tikal's head hard, like bam,
Right,
which imprints the brand on Tikal's head, and then just you kind of hear in Conroy's voice too, like he's had enough of this episode. Like, he just
honestly, Trey, you can kind of, especially with the ending line, which we'll get into.
Yeah. So just Batman just saying like sit. He's commanding it to stop and just to sit because he's had to hear this weird thing. So then Etrigan saves Batman from all these magical blasts from Clarion. Clarion's clearly outgunned with Etrigan. We then let's see. Again, we use we use the rhyming sparingly and effectively for a bit like this too. Like, mother's grief, father's shame. Soon he goes from whence he came. Again, I love that we kept it sparing, but again, effective. Tim just asking, what does that mean? I'm sending him to his room. And they disappear. Shock it all. So then we have the money line of the episode, Tiki.
Tim Drake's just like, about tonight, don't ask. Just don't ask. Which that's gotta be the writers have to know how silly this shit is.
Again, they clearly know, because this is the first time they're doing full-on magic, like, for a full episode. Like, Avatar's like magic at the very end. Like, this is full-on magic. Like,
Sure.
From start to finish, and like they only really done this with Superman's. This is like the Batman's side of like addressing. Okay, because when you do magic in Superman, it's like, okay, we've introduced the third thing on this planet that can hurt Superman, which is magic. So that's pretty big. This, for Batman, the Batman just does not deal with magic like ever. So it's just like, okay, well, we introduce magic. Batman, like, he'll deal with it when he has to, but he does not want to deal with it, usually.
All right, let's round this thing out.
It's a Clarion is seemingly in the corner of a room, but then we reveal the implication being he is trapped inside the little crystal ball on Jason Blood's shelf.
I'm like say elsewhere, Dragon.
Pretty much.
All right, so final thoughts. This episode's insane. That's all I got.
Okay,
whether that's good or bad is up for interpretation. It's just a crazy episode. It's not boring. So points there. All right.
Final thoughts for me. Look, you know me. I'm never one to mix magic with Batman. But I just want to get it in there. This episode is a lot better than a lot of people gave it credit for, because people were just kind of reacting to like magic, ooh, and Batman, no. Or it was like that's pretty much the reaction.
Yes, that's exactly how people reacted.
But I mean, pretty much it was like. I'll admit, I jazzed it up, I zhuzhed it up a little bit for sure, but what I'm saying is it was a lot of vitriol and like, boo, Magic and Batman, no, what are you thinking? You're such a grounded show and you're doing this now. But, we did Critters a while back. That was different, that was science.
Critters is like, this is a way better episode than Critters. I'll give you that much.
Exactly, that's my point. So people just like instantly doing a little finger cross and like, no, banish it away, no. Well, that's the thing. I just want to highlight, though. Again, you go back on this episode, and of course, this is also like after that first watch, you go through all the way through the DC animated universe, and Batman's gone. This is like the start of it all. He goes through all sorts of magic and demons and gods and stuff as time goes on. It's just like the key thing that they got right here is that Batman is very much in character. I love the history between him and Jason Blood. I love that. Part of me wishes they in lieu of this episode, they animated, or at least before this episode, they animated that Batman annual Ra's al Ghul story because it reads and it looks awesome. It was great, and it would have
honestly, if they would have done that, I think this episode would have probably sounded a lot better with me if we would have gotten the proper context for it.
I mean, I'm inclined to say even do it in lieu of this episode because Ra's al Ghul does not appear in New Adventures. He appears in the Super Team crossover that we're going to get to at the end of New Adventures. But it's. Yeah. But had they done that, though, it might have defeated part of the episode in a sense of like, well, the whole thing is like you don't know the answers, hence it plays. But again, it's like still though the other was better though.
Sure.
So Batman's had an adventurous life. The DCAU is getting bigger and more diverse is kind of the big takeaway here. By no means a go-to Batman the Animated Series episode, but again, the important takeaway. Love letter to Jack Kirby's DC work, which how can you not kind of respect it for something like that? It's like, hey, good old little love letter to the weird stuff Jack Kirby created when he was at DC that kind of stuck around, especially stuck around this week. But,
All right, Dragon, take us out. What's next on the docket?
Rashomon Recollections. Oversized props. Miller Time. Will this trio of Bat fans survive their own story, or will the Dark Knight's legend not live up to the hype? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated Bat time, same animated Bat place.
On the next visit to the animated Batcave with Legends of the Dark Knight.
Don't ask. Just don't ask.
There's no flavor better than strawberry.